St. Gabriel Catholic Radio is pleased to bring you this gospel reflection from Bishop Earl K. Fernandez for the 16th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Today's gospel from Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 to 43.
My brothers and sisters in Christ, today we celebrate the 16th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Jesus has begun to teach his disciples by using parables. Last week we heard the parable of the seed and the sower. This week we hear the parable of the weeds and the wheat. It's a kind of confusing parable because weeds grow up amongst wheat, and we wonder, well, how could this have happened? And the answer to that is, well, an enemy must have done that. Sometimes we feel this happens even in the church or amongst our family members and friends. Everybody grows up alongside one another, but some people practice and other people don't. Some people are very good and faithful friends, and others are disloyal. When push comes to shove, they betray us. How could this have happened? Sometimes people have the same upbringing, and yet one adopts a spiritual path, another adopts a very worldly path. How could this have happened? Certainly the Lord planted the seed. What happened then? Well, sometimes we have to account that there are visible and invisible forces bent on dominating us, that there is an active presence in the world, that the devil, in fact, is real. Holy Father Pope Francis speaks a lot about the active presence of the devil in the world. Nevertheless, with the parable of the weeds and the wheat, the Holy Father also reflects on this in his exhortation, The Joy of the Gospel, in paragraph 24, because what he exhorts us to is patience and discernment. Weeds and wheat grow up beside each other, and in Greek the word for weed is zizania, which is ryegrass, which is very difficult to distinguish from wheat until the last moment. In other words, if we uproot everything right away just because we're zealous, because we're passionate about our faith, and we become judgmental and sometimes overly zealous, we might take up the wheat along with the weeds and turn people off, or people who have the potential to grow or to reform. We forget about them or we cast them off. God is patient with us. He lets things grow. He gives us opportunity after opportunity to return to him with our whole heart. We ourselves have to be patient in our discernment so that at the right moment we can make a choice. We have to recognize the reality, interpret that reality in light of faith, especially our faith in God who is patient with us, and then make choices. Let's not be too hasty in our judgments. Let's be patient. Eventually, we have to make judgments. But let's be in touch with the Lord, who is the just judge. He is our ultimate judge, and so we turn things over into his hands, and we allow him to form our minds so we see and judge things rightly. In the meantime, be patient with those people around you, because the good Lord is patient with all of us.
Thanks for joining us for this gospel reflection from Bishop Earl K. Fernandez. If you'd like to listen to it again or share it with a friend, please be sure to visit the Bishop Fernandez podcast page at stgabrielradio.com.